Born in Kingston, Pennsylvania on June 28, 1942, Frank Zane's interest in bodybuilding sparked at the young age of 14. Growing up in a rough coal mining town, Zane realized his straight A's were not going to protect him and his younger brother. Frank began lifting weights at the YMCA, and encouraged by the evident results, he bought a set of weights for home and studied a muscle magazine he found in school. Frank also began practicing yoga, meditation, and Shen Buddhism to help him focus on his goals. Inspired by Steve Reeves as Hercules in 1959, Frank could identify with his classic, proportional, and lean physique and saw the vision of what his body could become. He began competing in physique contests at the age of 18 and won numerous trophies and awards. Frank graduated first in his class in 1960, ultimately decided to become a teacher, allowing him more time to train. In 1966, in search of better training climates, Frank moved to Tampa, Florida. While teaching junior high school, Frank met Christine, an older sister of one of his students. Upon meeting Frank, Christine took up bodybuilding to improve her own figure. 1 year after they met, Frank and Christine were married. Although Frank had already been bodybuilding for over 10 years, the motivation and encouragement Christine and Frank provided each other was a new and powerful element of their training process. Frank Zane won the 1968 Mr. America and 1 week later won the 1968 Mr. Universe title in Miami, Florida. Frank and Christine moved to Southern California, and in 1969, Frank won the Mr. World competition in Belgium. In the 1970 Mr. Universe contest, Frank won the amateur, Arnold won the pro, and Christine won Miss Universe Bikini. Then in 1972, Frank won the professional Mr. Universe title. Since moving to California, Frank trained at the original Gold's Gym with Arnold and many of the top bodybuilders. Frank shared his knowledge of archery and math with Arnold, and Arnold suggested Frank finish his routines with his crowd-pleasing vacuum pose. The camaraderie motivated everyone to higher performance levels. Christine took photos of Frank posing, which helped him greatly in sculpting his body to perfection. He embodied the classic Greek proportions and spent long amounts of time developing little areas and details of the body that no one else had. Known for his presentation and proportion, he mastered poses that accentuated his strengths and minimized his flaws. Zane continued his intensive training and in 1972 set his sights on the coveted Mr. Olympia trophy, one of the most prestigious titles in the sport of bodybuilding. Frank was also getting his bachelor's degree in psychology, exercising his mind and body. Frank has said, "I state my goals and my intentions, then work to make them happen." In 1977, after 13 years of teaching science and math, Frank Zane retired and focused all his energy on winning the 1977 Mr. Olympia, with meditation and yoga as the key part of his pre-contest training. The Columbus, Ohio Veterans Memorial Auditorium was sold out months in advance. And on that exciting night with the world's top bodybuilders in contention, Frank was victorious.
I was training with him. This is fantastic. I tell you, that is a proof again that size doesn't mean everything in bodybuilding. That the symmetry is very important. How you do your presentation of the posing routine, that your body is put together perfectly. And I'm very excited that Frank Zane made it. I mean, that is fantastic.
Frank came back to Columbus in 1978 to defend his title in even better shape than the previous year and radiating with the confidence of a winner. And again, Frank Zane won the esteemed title of Mr. Olympia. In 1979, Frank returns to Columbus as he tries to make it 3 in a row.
He's always in control and he's posing. I think that he knows exactly what his next poses are, whereas most of the other bodybuilders just goes through. Psychologically, really, he's way ahead of everybody else. And Frank Zane again feels like he's the winner.
Zane brings a sold-out crowd to their feet as he wins for the 3rd time in a row. Zane received the first Mr. Olympia trophy, modeled after Eugene Sandow.
I'm the leanest guy to ever win the Mr. Olympia contest.
In 1980, Frank placed 3rd in one of the most controversial Mr. Olympia competitions to date. He continued competing until 1983 and opened Zane Haven Bodybuilding and Learning Center with Christine in 1980, where over 3,000 clients learn about weight training and fitness, all in one-on-one training sessions in the Zane's personal gym. Frank is a large proponent of positive speaking. He believes negative body metaphors have a direct negative effect on the body. Frank completed his master's degree in experimental psychology in 1990 and finally understood that his truest competition was himself.
Bodybuilding is a tremendous thing when you realize that you have a hand, you have the power to create your body the way you want it.
Throughout Frank's career, he won over 150 awards and titles and was inducted into the Joe Weider Bodybuilding Hall of Fame in 1994. He was also named one of the top 10 legends of bodybuilding. Frank Zane, in collaboration with Christine, has written 5 books on nutrition and exercise, as well as a quarterly news magazine called Building the Body. Frank also plays in a band called In Zane and promotes the value of music, both in exercise as well as relaxation. He continues to stress the benefits of bodybuilding as a method of character completion, training to reach a greater whole self.
Bodybuilding is opening people's eyes to what's possible for the body.
For over 45 years, Frank Zane has embodied the essence of bodybuilding. Total control of body, mind, and spirit, and the perfect union of science and art. He has shared his philosophies, expertise, and high standards with the world of bodybuilding.